Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iFive for the iPhone is provided by Cashfly at CACHEFLY.com.
Hello everybody, this is iFive for the iPhone, episode 115. This is a show where we cover the latest iPhone apps and some tips and tricks and of course news as it comes to us. I'm Sarah Lane and I'm just so happy to see you. Number one. Okay, so by now, especially if you watch the Twit network, there's a very good chance that you're either using the new email app called Inbox, or you're trying to get an invite to the new email app called Inbox, or maybe you're just hearing about it for the first time, so welcome. The Gmail team, which is obviously part of the Google team, has put together a new app. It's called Inbox, which is separate from Gmail, and it's not a Gmail replacement, but it handles your Gmail email in a way that I think is really interesting. You've got bundles, so these are similar messages that are bundled together so that you can deal with them in bulk. You can also get rid of them in bulk. That's very helpful. Highlights help you pull information from emails like a time when you're supposed to meet somebody, or maybe a flight, or a group of photos, or some other detail that it might be really helpful to get without even opening that message. Reminders help you organize your inbox based on what you have to come back to. Snooze emails and reminders to come back when you're ready to deal with them. Maybe that's next week. Maybe it's via geolocation, like when you get home or when you reach some other destination where you've got to be reminded of it again. Whenever you choose, really. Inbox is built by the Gmail team, like I mentioned, so all your messages from Gmail, if you're a Gmail user, are going to be here. You don't start over. You don't even use a new email address. It's just the app itself, which is also a web app. Now, Inbox is invite only, and it does take a little getting used to. I'm not going to go ahead and say that it is going to replace Gmail for me, but I do believe, fundamentally, email is unsustainable as a protocol. I mean, everybody has too much email. We all complain about getting through email and declaring email bankruptcy. It just kind of sucks as an experience. So Inbox is at least trying to make it more manageable right at the get-go so that we all have less to do and more time to eat lollipops. Thanks, Google. Number two. We got an email from John who has a couple questions for us, and we're going to tackle them both. John writes, like you, I have not only gotten used to, but thoroughly enjoy my iPhone 6 Plus. Which stand do you use at your desk? I use my iPhone 6 Plus at my desk as my office phone, and I would like a real nice stand to show it off. Okay, I've waited long enough. Let's address John's first question, which is, I have to say, by far the most common question that we've ever gotten here on iFive of 115 episodes. The stand. Now this is actually a different stand that I used to use because my 6 Plus is so much bigger than my 5S. Truth is, it's really just something that we use to prop up my phone screen for cameras for this show. This is not actually my work desk. This is a set. And I don't actually use the stand otherwise. Just pretty much lay my phone down on a flat surface and call it a day. Although, since you're wondering, I might as well tell you, its stand is made by Belkin. It's actually an Express Dock for an iPad. So Burke, who is one of our engineers, got this one because it's obviously big enough to look okay with the 6 Plus, which is huge. It has a built-in 4-foot USB cable, and it runs you $59.99 at Belkin.com. That seems like an expensive stand to me, but if you love it and you think it's what you've always wanted, that's where you get it. On to John's second question. John asks, what do you use in your car so I could drive safely and still be able to see my podcast? So by see, I assume you mean watch? That's a very good question, John, especially since your life is on the line. The answer is, do not watch podcasts in your car, at least not when you're driving. This is totally not safe, and by the way, it's also not legal. Audio is fine, but you can't watch anything in your car. Please don't do that. I need you to be alive, or you're of no use to me, okay? Eyes on the road. Stay alive and subscribe. Number 3. Here's a tip from David that we got in our email bag that applies to the iPhone keyboard when it's in landscape mode. David writes, I just noticed something awesome when you use the landscape keyboard. I'm not sure when this was added, but you now have arrow keys to navigate and fine-tune your typing. This has been a long time coming, and I'm so excited. Well, David, I am excited that you are excited. But yes, you're right. And yes, it's convenient. And yes, it's awesome. Number 4, we got an email, lots of emails this week. This one comes from Mike, who has a Siri Behavior question for us. And this was kind of fun to research on my part. Mike writes, I was playing with a new location sharing feature on iOS 8, and I wanted to be able to tell Siri to tell my wife where I am. I say, tell my wife where I am, and Siri says, okay, I'll tell your wife where you are. But then she never actually sends it. It shows my wife in a map showing my location, but no matter what I press or say, she won't send it. I'm hoping you might know, since you know everything Siri. Well, Mike, I wouldn't claim that, but I certainly like a good mystery, and I think I have solved yours. So first of all, Mike has added the wife title to his wife's contact information. If her name is Susan, you can tell Siri, Susan Smith is my wife, and Siri will remember that. That's easy enough for you to do. You can do that for all sorts of titles, by the way. Wife, manager, boyfriend, and so on.
Do you want me to remember that Trish Iboshi is your BFF?
And in the future, Siri knows who you mean. The problem Mike has, that is, it seems to hang up at the map. So what I did was replicate the steps with a fake contact that I created named Moops. It's a Seinfeld reference that hopefully you get. Then I attached my actual email address to the contact, mine, so that I could test this out. So when I say, tell Moops where I am, then I get that same map that Mike was talking about.
Okay, I'll tell the card says Moops where you are.
But what I also get is an email sent to Moops showing my location and also giving Moops an invitation to join Find My Friends, which of course is a native iOS app that we've talked about in the past. Now, David, you didn't say whether or not your wife was getting these emails. If she isn't, I suspect that the email address you have for her in her contact card is outdated. That's worth a look. Or maybe she's just not checking email. For everybody else, use this Siri feature with caution. As I've demonstrated, you can share your location pretty easily with somebody in your contact list, and Siri isn't going to wait for you to confirm. Finally, number 5, let's talk about podcast apps. You know, I do podcasts for a living, so I like to think that I'm kind of on top of what all of your options are. So which one do you like the best? Is it Apple's native podcasts app? I don't hate it. It's okay. I've recommended a couple in the past. Downcast, Instacast are 2 good ones. But a new app from Marco Arment, who you might remember as the creator of Instapaper, used to work at Tumblr, is just a general pretty badass kind of a guy. It has a really nice alternative if you're looking for a podcast app that does a little bit more. So you've got features like Smart Speed, Voice Boost, and Smarter Playlists that help you listen to more podcasts in more places, helps you discover new shows, and also customize your own experience because, hey, we want to listen or watch the stuff that we want to watch, right? So you've got to make it work for you. Now, some of these features are in the locked version, so you have the option to unlock everything. It's just a one-time purchase of $4.99 in-app, but you don't have to. Download podcasts for playing anytime, even when you're offline. You can search and browse for new podcasts. This is all very standard. You can also get recommendations from Twitter, depending on who your Twitter friends are listening to. And I've actually gotten a couple interesting suggestions. You can create custom playlists with filters, smart filters, and then per podcast priorities and rearrange the list whenever you want. You can get push notifications if that's your bag when a new episode arrives. Obviously, subscribe to a podcast or add just a single episode. You can try a new show without committing. I've been trying some paleo podcasts, and it's like, most of them are just not right for me, so it's nice to know that before you subscribe. And if you decide to unlock all of those features, again, for that $5, you can also download podcasts over cellular connections, set sleep timers, or use Voice Boost to normalize speech volume. Some podcasts, you might notice, creators don't use the best mic, so this can actually be kind of helpful. You can adjust playback speed and use Smart Speed to pick up extra speed without actually distorting the conversation. Again, those are some premium features. Overcast is basically the perfect-ish podcast app that offers at least as good of an experience as you're going to get dealing with podcasts, which can still be a confusing experience for some people, and I don't blame them. Give it a try, and do let me know what you think. And that is it for this edition of iFive for the iPhone. Hope you had a good time. I certainly did. All of the apps and links and other information from this show is at twit.tv/iFive. That's also where you can subscribe to the show if you're enjoying it and help support us. You can email us questions or general feedback to iFive@twit.tv. You can leave us a voicemail at 614 on iFive, or you can, I don't know, sing our praises to a friend. I'm Sarah Lane, and I'll see you right here next time on iFive for the iPhone.